Hi guys, my name is Johnny and today we're going to be talking about Olympus DAO, what it is, how it works, how you can also stake and or bond so that way you can earn tokens in this space. Now, before I continue, nothing I say here is financial advice, so please do your own research. It is for entertainment and educational purposes only. So without further ado, let's get started. Before we get into Olympus DAO, let's talk about the concept of stablecoins. As the volatile crypto market exists, there is a need for a stablecoin for investors to place their investments in from time to time. And the idea is that not everyone has access to the US dollar. Tokens such as USDC and USDT are created that are pegged and backed in theory by $1. Now, I think that in general, that kind of defeats the entire purpose of decentralized currencies because it is still pegged to a fiat currency at the end of the day. With further innovations, for example, we're looking at DAI, and so DAI is worth $1, but it is backed by Ethereum, which I think is a really cool step forward in that direction. And what Olympus DAO does is they take that one more step further, and instead of saying that they're worth $1, they are a free floating reserve currency. So they are backed by one DAI, but in addition to the one DAI, it is also backed by other reserve assets that are also stable, such as LUSD and Frax. Let's dive into their website. Let's scroll down. So how Olympus DAO works is that they conduct bond sales and they own virtually all of their liquidity, which means all of the fees that gets transacted they own. And that's actually how they generate money. And what they do with that money is that they increase their treasury inflows, but also they are able to control the supply of OHM tokens. And in cases like this, they would mint additional tokens and give them to staked OHM holders. And these staking rewards are compounded automatically. And I think that's one of the coolest things about Olympus DAO and how it rewards its stakers. So as we scroll down, they are aiming for a sustainable staking APY, and currently I don't think it's at 100%. I think there's a glitch that they're working on, but if we head over to Dune Analytics, we can scroll down and we can actually see that the APY currently is sitting at about shy under 7,000%. Now this project is still pretty new, and as time moves forward, we are going to be reaching an equilibrium. I mean, we can see this APY eventually drop. But for now, it seems very lucrative if the price of the token holds the same or in the long run. But what's also really interesting too is that the longer that this project goes, the less important the value of the token is. And if we go over to their FAQ section and we can look at that because of the rebasing rewards and the high APY, that it creates so many tokens for token holders that even if you bought one OHM today at $400, which is close to the price, and in 1 year's time, because of the rebasing rewards, your growth of your tokens will grow exponentially. And even if the value of your OHM drops to $2, you would have earned about 1,377 ohms in 1 year, and that would be worth about $2,700. Now, minus your initial investment, you're looking at about $2,300 in profit. And they're able to do this because they have a bonding mechanism over here, for example. Let's head over to their web app, and they have this bonding mechanism here, and that's actually a big way of how they generate their revenue. And some might even ask what happens if people stop buying or stop bonding on the platform. We can go back over here and we can look at the runway in APYs and what is actually sustainable. So you can look here, currently it's sitting at about 6,000%. So it's between the 1K and 10K APY runway, but it has enough money in the treasury to support this for about almost a year. So we're looking here on this left-hand side here. So the current runway, is a little bit over a year. It can actually hold the 6,800% for a year if it needs to. And I think that's what's actually really cool about this, is that they are holding all of this reserve currency and trying to create not a stable token value, but an overall value of your holdings over time. Now let's get into how you can also get involved with this. So if you head over here, connect your MetaMask wallet, and if you have your Ethereum token, you could select it, put whichever one you want, and then you're gonna hit Zap and Stake. And what that does in one step, it converts your Ethereum to ohms and then into staked ohms in one click. And that in theory should save you some fees. I've also created another video where you can do a shortcut so that way you can figure out what makes the most sense for you. So staking is the easiest thing to do. Now, we did talk about bonding, and what does bonding mean? And so bonding could also be extremely lucrative for you. So the way that you should calculate this thing out is when you look at the bond, you're looking at the ROI here. So for example, if we click into bond, if you're going to say bond DAI, you're going to get a 7.3% discount on the current price. So the current price of ohm is $450, but you get to buy ohm for $420. So you do get to save 7%. So this might actually work a lot better for you than buying ohm itself. Now the question sometimes could be, do I bond or do I stake? So what you should do as a reference is that anything that's in the negative will have a negative ROI, and I would generally stay away from that. What you would do is you would head over to stake, and because you have to bond for 5 days, the ROI needs to be higher than what's here. And right now, I don't think the site is working, but you'll look at this area here, and for example, if the ROI here is 10%, for example, then it doesn't make sense for you to do this because your ROI would be at 7.6%. So another thing to note, when you do bond, you will forfeit the token or the liquidity pool tokens that you put in here in exchange for ohms. So for example, if I want to bond, I would put 418 and 66 DAI into the Olympus DAO app, and it will tell me that I will get 1 ohm in 5 days. And once I'm done to claim it and stake it, I then forfeit my DAI. And that's essentially how bonding works. And in that time is how Olympus DAO actually collects and makes money, especially on the liquidity pool fees. Now, there is a lot more to Olympus DAO in terms of they have their 3 together. They also have wrap balances. They also are working on migrating their governance ohm from AVAX, for example, to kind of avoid some of the high fees that we are getting. But this is an evolving token project, and I think it's really neat that we can be a part of this decentralized reserve currency. So that's pretty much it, and that's the basics of it. I think the main takeaway is that it is an experiment leveraging game theory, that if we all stake, we can all make a profit, and to kind of retrain us into the idea of what a reserve currency should be. And it shouldn't be the number of the token that it's worth or the entire holding and stake in the long run. So even if the price of ohm changes drastically over time, the amount of tokens that we will accumulate will grow exponentially. And so what happens in the future with the APY and the price of the token, time will tell. But what we are pretty certain is that this project is here to stay, and there's tons of innovations that are rolling out in the next couple of weeks. And the 2 easiest ways for you to engage in this token is to either stake using the Ollie Zaps, or 2, you can bond if the ROI is greater than your 5-day return. Now, that's about it. I hope this video was helpful in getting you started into this. I would suggest reading more into their documentation, joining their Discord channel, and really getting an idea of what this is about. So if you like the video, please like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys again soon.